What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Cowboys Insiders, the place where a true fans of the Dallas Cowboys come to stay informed, stay engaged, and stay ahead of the game. No matter where you are in the world, whether you have been the Cowboys fans for years or you are just now starting to follow the journal, this is your space. This is where we break everything down in the way of actually make a sense. No noise, no confusion, just a little talk about what's happening inside one of the most iconic franchises in the National Football League. Before we get into today's content, take a quick second to subscribe if you haven't already and turn on notification so you never miss an update about the Dallas Cowboy. And to everyone who have been supporting the channel, watching consistently, liking the videos and sharing your thought, that support does not go unnoticed. This channel keep growing because of you. Now here's the reality. The Dallas Cowboys are not just another team are going through a normal off season. This is a team under pressure, a team with expectations, and a team that has been close but not close enough, and at some points almost is no longer acceptable. That's why every move right now matters, every signing, every draft picks, every decision behind the scenes. This is the phase where championship teams are built, not on the game day but on the moments like this, when the front office are making decisions that will define the future. And that's exactly what we are here to break down for you. On the Cowboys Insiders, we are not just reacting to news, we are analyzing it, we are asking thought questions, and we are looking at what works, what doesn't, and what needs to change if this team is going to take that next step. Because let's be honest, the talent is there, but is it enough in the Dallas Cowboy? That's the question we are going to keep going back to as we move deeper into the offseason, with the free agencies move unfolding and the NFL draft getting closer. This become one of the most important stretches of the year for the Dallas. The decision made right now could either push this team into a serious contention or keep them stuck in the same cycle we have seen before. So in today's video, we are going to take a closer look at everything you need to know, the moves, the strategy, and the possibilities, and what it all means for the future of the Dallas Cowboys. The offseason in the National Football League is always time of the moments, uncertainty, and opportunity. But for the Dallas Cowboy, this year free agencies and NFL draft has carried out a deeper sense of the purpose. After a season filled with a promise but ending short of championship expectations, the organization has approached a free agencies with a clear vision, strengthen our key areas and experience, and build a roster capable of competing at the highest level when it matters most. A free agency is often where a team reveals their true intentions. Some franchises rebuild, others take a risk, and few try to make a bold, aggressive moves to push themselves into contention. For a Cowboys, the approach has been measured but strategic. Instead of making headlines with one massive signings, they have focused on adding players who can contribute immediately while also fitting into the team's long-term structure. This kind of approach reflects a front office that understands both the urgency of winning now and importance of maintaining stability for the future. One of the most noticeable areas of the focus has been the offensive side of the ball. The Cowboys understand that in the today NFL, successful team must have a balanced and efficient offense while they already have capable a quarterback in Dak Prescott. The reality is that even the most talented quarterback needs the right pieces around them in order them to succeed. So that is why some of the new additions in the free agencies have been centered on improving protection and providing more option in the passing of the game, bringing in experienced offensive linemen and adds a depth and reliability, something that have been missing at the time due to injuries and inconsistency. These players may not always grab headlines, but their impact is often felt in every play, every drive, and every game. At the same time, the Cowboys have looked to add versatility to their offense by targeting players who can contribute in multiple ways. A modern football demands flexibility and having players who can adapt to different roles, which create more opportunities for a creative play calling. Whether it is a receiver who can line up in multiple positions for running back, who can both carry the ball and catch punches out of the backfield, this addition gives the coaching staff more tools to work with. This kind of depth can be the difference between predictable offense and one that keeps defenses guessing. The running game in particular have been an area of concern in recent season, so the departure from the dominant years of Ezekiel Elliott left gaps that has not been fulfilled through a free agencies. So the Cowboys have made a move to address this issue by bringing in players who offer a combination of speed, vision, and physicality. These are kind of player who can change the momentum of the game with a single run, who can turn a short gain into big plays, and player who can help to control the pace of the offense. Establishing consistent running game not only support the quarterback but also open up the passing attack, creating a more balanced and effective offense overall. On the defensive side, the Cowboys have continued to build around one of the most dynamic players, Mick Parsons. So Parsons have already continuing as a competitive team and finally transforming into a true championship contender. Over the past few seasons, the Cowboys have shown a flashes of brilliance, but they have also struggled with inconsistency, especially in the biggest moments. So that is why this draft is not just another year event for the Dallas. It is an opportunity to reshape the identity of the team and build a stronger foundation for the futures. At the heart of the Cowboys' current situation is their quarterback Dak Prescott. Prescott remained one of the most important figures in the franchise, a leader with experience and the ability to guide the offense when everything is functioning properly. However, even the best quarterback in the league cannot succeed without a light support around them. In a recent season, Prescott has faced a pressure due to offensive line that has not been dominant as it once was. Injury urging players and inconsistencies have weakened what used to be one of the strongest units in football. This has had direct impact not only on Prescott's performance but also on entire of offensive system. The running game is another area where the Dallas Cowboys have experienced a noticeable decline during a prime years of Ezekiel Elliott, and the team had powerful and reliable rushing attacks that could control the tempo of the game. Today, what some level of dominance is missing. While there have been moments of promise, there is no clear long-term solution at the running back position. In the modern NFL, where offensive balance is a key, having a dynamic running back who can both run effectively and contribute in the passing game is essential. This makes the draft perfect opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys to address these needs and inject a new energy into the offense. When it comes to a passing game, the Cowboys are fortunate to have a true star like CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has established himself as one of the top wide receivers in the league, capable of making a big plays and carrying significant portions of the offensive load. However, relying too heavily on a single receiver can make an offense predictable. Defenses can adjust their strategies to limit Lamb's impact, forcing other players to step up. This is why adding another wide receiver through a draft could be a crucial move. A fast and explosive players who can stretch the field would not only complement a Lamb but also create more opportunities for the entire offense. On the defensive side of the ball, the Cowboys have one of the most exciting players in the NFL in the Micah Parsons. Parsons has the ability to change the outcomes of the game with his speed, strength, and versatility, and he is kind of player every team dreams to build around. However, football is a team sport, and even player of the Parsons caliber cannot do everything alone. The Cowboys' defense, while strong in certain areas, still lacks a depth and consistency in others, and strengthening the defensive line and adding a talent to a secondary could significantly improve the overall performance of the unit. As the NFL draft draws closer, the strategy of the Dallas Cowboys become a topic of intense discussions. One passing approach is to focus heavily on the offensive line, selecting a player who can immediately step in and provide protection for a Dak Prescott. Another approach would be to prioritize skills positions, such as running back or wide receiver, in order to create a more explosive offense. There is also the option of selecting the best player available regardless of position, strategy that can sometimes lead to unexpected but valuable addition to a team. The Cowboys could also consider trading down in the draft, a move that would allow them to acquire additional picks and build a depth across a multiple position. This approach requires careful planning and clear understanding of the team's long-term goals. While it may not provide an immediate impact from a single star player, it can create more balanced and complete roster over time. Ultimately, the success of this draft will depend on decisions made by the Cowboys front office and coaching staff. So every pick carries a certain level of the risk, but it also represents an opportunity. The difference between good teams and the great ones often comes down to to how well franchise can identify and develop talent through the draft. For the Cowboys, this is a chance to address their weaknesses, reinforce their strength, and take significant steps forward. Looking ahead, the impact of the 2026 NFL Draft could shape the future of the Dallas Cowboys for years to come. A successful draft could elevate the team to a new level, turning them into a serious contender capable of making a deep playoff runs. On the other hand, missed opportunity could result in continued frustration and unfulfilled potential. This is what makes the draft such a pivotal moment in the NFL calendar. As fans wait to see how everything unfolds, one thing is certain: the Cowboys have a pieces to complete, but they need the right addition to complete the puzzle, and the decision they make in this draft will not only influence the upcoming season but also defining the direction of on the position with Dallon Bland and Shavon Levers Jr. and Colin Carson playing through injuries last year, and Bland is rehabbing from off-season foot surgery. The Cowboys hope Rivera will make a secondary year jump after missing the first 9 games last season, recovering from a torn ACL. This means Dallon was on rehabilitation and recovering from ACL injury. Durant has some experience playing in a slot, which could be a bonus for the Cowboys, but his addition would not prevent them from selecting a corners with one of their first 2-round picks in upcoming NFL draft mocks. Then also, the Sam Williams, he is the defensive end in re-upping on 1-year deal, which will worth about $3 million US. The former Cowboys second round picks return on low cost and low risk move. He had 1 sack last season after coming back from a torn ACL and starting 5 of 17 games. He has credited with 38 tackles and 25 pressures and 6 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery and forced fumble. He had 8.5 sacks in the first 2 years before the injury. So perhaps a change in a shame under a Packer can up his pass rusher production in 2026. While the trade of Rashan Gally means more for the defense, resigning Williams shouldn't take the Cowboys out of adding more help in free agencies or using one of their top picks on pass rusher in the NFL draft. So, Dallas Cowboys also agreed 1-year deal with a maximum of $3 million with a former Charger, Otito Agbonia. Defensive tackles doesn't seem like a major need when the Cowboys already have Quinnen Williams, Ken Duck, and Solomon Thomas. Also plus 2025 draft picks J. Toia. But Agonia can play a role. A Packer wants to keep a fresh rotation of linemen in his defense. Ogbonia was limited to 9 games last season because of injury, but he had 14 pressures and a half sack. He has started 20 career games and 81 tackles. Between 6 foot and 4 and 320 pounds, he has a size to help a bolster on the front. PG Loki, the former Broncos safety, will join also Dallas with 1 year contract. Catch up on NFL free agencies, top remaining players, and grading deals, ranking 32 classes, and lingering questions, and every team signing more reactions. After agreeing to deal with a Thompson on Monday, Aloki is a second safety to be brought aboard. The Cowboys reworked the deal for one of the last year's startup, Malik Hooker, and have Max Kisbell on roster. So the safety group looks filled out. Aloki started 26 games in 6 years in Denver, and he had an interception in the Broncos playoff win versus Buffalo in this year in January. If the Cowboys believe Thompson can play the Nicholas spot full-time, that opens up opportunities for Aloki, who has 174 tackles and 7 tackles for a loss in his career. At the very least, he brings a veteran depth and also can be a core special teamers in the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys didn't really need another quarterback with last year's loan. So Dak Prescott and Joe Milton III and Will Glee under contract, but they brought on fourth arm Howell, who ended last season with Philadelphia after spending time with Minnesota, made the first start of his career against the Cowboys in 2022 while with Washington and got the wins. For his career, he has recorded 22 touchdowns passes and 23 interceptions. So can he compete for the backup jobs held by Milton last season? Is he just another arm for the off-season program? It's a fly on a guy, and Cowboys would like to see what he has. There is no really risk here. Hennessy essentially replaces a block Hoffman, who has been valuable reserve central and guards the past 2 seasons and has not tended as a restricted free agents. Hennessy has started 24 games, including the games in Atlanta. He has a third-round pick out of Temple for Atlanta in 2025 and played for the Falcons and San Francisco the past 6 seasons. The Cowboys needed interior offensive line depth and have a TG Bass who started late last season at the left guards and is restricted as a free agent. The Cowboys tendered a bus at a second-round level of $6 million. Adrian Hendrick also, which have been already signed a new contract with the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk with what will help the Dallas Cowboys in this season. The former Rams signed 1 year millions contract that could max about. The Cowboys believe that a team can never have enough corners. They added a Kobe Durant in the first week of free agents. They re-signed Aledis Setward and Kendrick, who has 3 interceptions in 47 games with the Lambs and Seahawks in his career, which have a chance to earn a roster spot this summer, but look for the Cowboys to add at least one more cornerback in a draft, perhaps in the first round. The former Santa Claus is joining a Dallas on 1 year deal. Contract is a Jonathan Bullard. Bullard is another rotational piece for defensive line. He is entering his 11th season and has played for 6 teams, including the New Orleans Saints last year. But he has a background with a new defensive line coach Marcus Dixon, having spent 3 seasons with the Minnesota Vikings, with Williams and Clark already at defensive tackles. $3 million. The former Cowboys second round picks return on low cost and low risk move. He had 1 sack last season after coming back from a torn ACL and starting 5 of 17 games. He has credited with 38 tackles and 25 pressures and 6 tackles for loss, a fumble recovery and forced fumble. He had 8.5 sacks in the first 2 years before the injury. So perhaps a change in a scheme under a Packer can up his pass rusher production in 2026. While the trade of Rashan Gally means more for the defense, re-signing Williams shouldn't take the Cowboys out of adding more help in free agencies or using one of their top picks on pass rusher in the NFL draft. So, Dallas Cowboys also agreed 1 year deal with a maximum of $3 million with a former Charger, Otito Agbonia. Defensive tackles doesn't seem like a major need when the Cowboys already have Quinnen Williams, Ken Duck, and Solomon Thomas. Also plus 2025 draft picks J. Toia. But Agonia can play a role. A Packer wants to keep a fresh rotation of linemen in his defense. Ogbonia was limited to 9 games last season because of injury, but he had 14 pressures and a half sack. He has started 20 career games and 81 tackles. Between 6 foot and 4 and 320 pounds, he has a size to help a bolster on the front. PG Loki, the former Broncos safety, will join also Dallas with 1 year contract. Catch up on NFL free agencies, top remaining players, and grading deals, ranking 32 classes, and lingering questions, and every team signing more reactions. After agreeing to deal with a Thompson on Monday, Aloki is a second safety to be brought aboard. The Cowboys reworked the deal for one of the last year's starter, Malik Hooker, and have Max Kisbell on roster. So the safety group looks filled out. Aloki started 26 games in 6 years in Denver, and he had an interception in the Broncos playoff win versus Buffalo in this year in January. If the Cowboys believe Thompson can play the nickel spot full-time, that opens up opportunities for a rookie who has 174 tackles and 7 tackles for a loss in his career. At the very least, he brings a veteran depth and also can be a core special teamers in it.